guys, just wanted to do a short little video on a camera that I just purchased a few days ago. It was the Akaso Brave 7 LE. Really liked the camera, but I did wind up sending it back for several reasons, and I wanted to go over those. If you'll notice today, we're shooting today on a GoPro Hero7 Black. So I wound up just going with the tried and true option, and it has definitely exceeded my expectations. So first thing on the Akaso, it was a great all-around camera, but the biggest thing that was not usable for me was their looping function, which it said their camera does looping, but with their looping, you're basically looping the entire memory card. So you had 1, 2, or 1, 3, and 5 minute looping intervals, but these loops were basically, it was just, if you were set on 1 minute looping, you were going to take 1 minute intervals, and it keeps recording. It basically fills the entire memory card until it's full, and then it's going to start looping over those. Whereas GoPro's looping function, it saves your initial loop and then never really goes into the rest of the memory card, so you actually have the opportunity to, on the go, save that footage, where there was no way to highlight or lock footage on the Akaso. So that was really just a deal breaker for me, because the looping function is what I was 100% after, and I couldn't find anybody that had that camera that was familiar enough with looping to answer my questions. I went ahead and ordered it hoping it would work, but unfortunately it did not. A couple other things on that camera. Another thing is the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi, I don't know if you ever had any of the cheaper, Chinese-made cameras or whatnot, but the Wi-Fi is horrible. You couldn't get more than a few feet away without losing your connection. So that really, I was very pleasantly surprised to see GoPros. This is my first go around with a GoPro, so I was very pleasantly surprised to see how well the Wi-Fi function worked. The Akaso Brave 7 LE also did not have voice functioning, which is a huge plus for GoPro, and I'm also very surprised at how well that actually works with the GoPro. Go ahead and make a cut now. GoPro, stop recording. So just that easy. I've saved my loop, and we're back recording. I'm on a 5 minute loop right now because just trying to get used to it, because that's the loop that I will be using. But yeah, those were a couple things with that that just weren't really usable for me. It didn't work. It basically was other than being waterproof and having a higher resolution frame rate, it was really the same as, my other cheaper, very cheap cameras that I'd bought in the past. Now, I think the quality of that camera was much better than those, but at the same time, the functionality of it just wasn't there. So I don't know how many people are actually going to be looking at that, but I really liked it because it was a cheaper option. But like I said, it just did not work for me, so not feasible. But if you have any questions, feel free to write them down below or whatnot, and I'll be happy to give you what I do know about either the Akaso Brave 7 LE or the GoPro 7 Hero Black. I've had it for a few days now, just been messing around with it, and I have to say I'm completely satisfied with it. So yeah, be sure to like the video and subscribe if you hadn't, and I should have some few more videos up here in the next few days for y'all to see. Thanks. GoPro, stop recording. Also, going back to, the Akaso Brave 7 LE did have the front-facing camera, or front-facing screen, so you could see yourself as you were shooting a selfie-style video, which was very nice. But the issue with that is, if you are going, it goes back to the looping function. My workaround that I was going to try to keep that camera, and the workaround I was going to use was to, well, I will just save the footage as I go, just to make sure it doesn't get rewritten in the I don't know, I think I initially started off with a 64 gig memory card, so I had I think about 2 hours of filming space at 4K at 60 feet per second. So the issue with that was I could not connect to the Wi-Fi without manually pushing the button on the side of the camera on the Akaso, which may not seem like much, but if I have my camera and it's 3 feet away from me on the water, it's not really that easily accessible to get to. I could get to it, but the fact that I would have to do that for every time was just a little bit cumbersome. So that was an issue. Not so much that I couldn't see what was going on, but that I had to actually reach back and hit that button on the side to enable Wi-Fi on the camera, or leave it connected to Wi-Fi the entire time, which that'll drain both your phone battery and your camera battery. So that was a no-go, and the transfer speeds. Looking at that, if I was doing a 3-minute clip and was going to even use that route and download the footage that I wanted to make sure I kept to my phone, I was looking at, if it was a 3-minute clip, it was taking roughly the same 3 minutes to download that footage or file to my phone. So if I had and time on the water is, that's just too long, was not acceptable. So a few things of that nature, depending on your specific purpose, those things may not be deal breakers for you, but for me it definitely was. And now that I have the GoPro, like I said, it was quite a bit more expensive, but in my honest opinion, it was absolutely worth it. And so far, above everything, the two things that the GoPro really stands out for me is the loop recording that's actually segmented, that will save your footage, and the voice control. It just makes it really handy. And on the front of the screen, I can see my times too. So I know right now I'm at about 3 minutes and 50 seconds, so I've got a minute to spare on this clip. If I want to save it, all I have to do is state that command, and it will save it and then restart the video. And just like that, I've got a new loop and we're ready to go. You do have to be kind of careful with what you say, because when I said the word start in that last clip, it actually stopped recording. So the commands are sometimes, but for the most part, they're very good, and they pick up issues with that. So GoPro, stop recording.